Social justice activist Mark Heywood has political ambitions. He's announced that he will join a new political movement just months before the national and provincial elections next year. Heywood speaks to us tonight about this. A very good evening to you, Mark. Good to have you back on the show. So, politics, some say that's where all noble intentions go to die. Why are you going that route?
Good evening. Well, can I just start by saying that it's not that Mark Heywood has political ambitions. It is that I have decided that the course to advance social justice, to advance equality and human rights, better access to health care now needs to pursue or to move through politics and building a political movement, particularly in light of the fact that there is this all-important general election in 2024. So it's not about my personal ambitions. In fact, I have no personal ambitions. It is about, for me, the best interests of this country, how to achieve the best interests of this country, and how to put South Africa back on the path to equality and dignity for all people.
You've long advocated for that very goal through your work within civil society. Why do you think that going into politics now would be the best way to go about that goal?
Well, politics ultimately is about power. It's about government. It's about access to the resources that can fix education, that can prevent hunger, that can ensure access to decent quality healthcare services. And politics is also the place where people test their ideas with the electorate in a democracy. You know, the thing is that civil society has played and continues to play such a very important role in trying to improve people's lives in this country. But very often civil society is being overlooked, is being ignored, is having to shout from the peripheries of politics, despite the fact that it has ideas and that it has solutions. So I'm just saying, and it's not just about me, I think this is a discussion that is taking place across civil society, that it is now a time to engage with electoral processes and to consider building political movements. And this is not unique to South Africa. In fact, it is something that is happening across the world.
The challenge, though, Mark, with going into politics is that what you're talking about, for example, tackling issues of corruption, inequality, a better life, basically, for all South Africans, free of the everyday struggles that we all face, perhaps to differing degrees, but we all face. Every political party campaigns on that score. So this movement, as it's being called, that you're part of, what would make you guys any different from the more than 20 other political parties currently trying to get our votes?
Well, every political party does campaign on that score, and every political party has failed on that score, because we know we live in a country with greater inequality, with 12 million hungry people, and so on and so on. It's not intrinsic to political parties that they become corrupted and that they fail to deliver. I think it's a question of integrity, leadership, and accountability back to people, and the quality of the ideas, and whether there's a real intent to better people's lives. You know, I have joined Roger Jardine, who is putting together a team to try to build a movement to shape a new politics for a new society and better interventions. There's no guarantees of success. But, you know, I would like you to look at me as somebody who I think you know has fought pretty tirelessly for almost 30 years in the trenches around the treatment action campaign, around Section 27, etc. I'm not going to sell my soul to politics now. I really am not. I think we've just come to a point where we need to adopt different strategies. Our country is in a very, very deep crisis. Government, ultimately, is the place that has the power and the resources to fix it.
You did mention that you're working on this with the former Prime Media CEO, Roger Jardine, who has been reported on quite a fair bit, in fact, in recent weeks, as far as his political vehicle that you are now confirming that you are going to be part of. What are you building with Roger?
Well, we're trying to build a new political movement. a political movement that people can believe in, we don't want people to trust it, but we want people to invest in it because it is an agent for change. It is very, very early days. The team is being assembled. In fact, there's going to be a public launch this Sunday where Roger Jardine will set out his vision and some ideas about the organization that is being put together for this purpose. You know, to be honest with you, there is a mountain and then another mountain to climb to do this. But our country is in a very, very desperate situation, or more importantly, tens of millions of people are in a very, very desperate situation. And we need something new. We need something believable if we are going to fix this. Otherwise, we face collapse. And I'm not prepared at this moment to surrender to that possibility.
So you mentioned earlier, you said you weren't selling yourself. But if you guys are going to win over the confidence of South Africans or get them to invest in this political movement, someone like Roger Jardine, while he may be known in business circles and some may remember him from his years as an activist, does not have mass appeal. So someone sitting in Soweto, for example, would not know him, neither would the ordinary bloke in Centurion, really, unless they followed his movements through corporate South Africa. So how do you get this movement to attract people? Because ultimately, to vote for you, they need to know you, they need to relate to you.
Well, nobody starts in a struggle to better other people's lives with mass appeal. It has to be built. It has to be earned. People have to listen, engage, decide whether they believe or they don't believe. That is going to be the challenge in the months ahead. You know, I have been part of building movements for 25 years, not political movements, but building organizations like the Treatment Action Campaign, like Save South Africa 5 years ago. You start out from the bottom, and then you build up, and then you build trust. And, you know, you and the public will have to make that judgment, and we will have to prove ourselves worthy of trust and conviction. But as I keep on trying to say, the people who have mass appeal, who have names, who are known as politicians, are failing the people. So mass appeal is not necessarily the guarantor of building an equal and a fair country again.
But it's the easiest way to win an election, and in a country where, similar to politics elsewhere in the world, populist, some would say, politics are increasing in their spread. That does present a unique challenge. You said these are the early days for this movement. Some would say these are late days because we're going to go to an election by no later than August next year. So you need to get this rolling.
Yeah, we certainly do need to get it rolling, and it will be got rolling. These are early days. But as I keep saying, you know, politics is failing people, has been failing people. These big populist names, they make all sorts of radical promises to change, and then they go back into their elite, comfortable lives, leaving ordinary people poor, vulnerable to crime, vulnerable to disease, etc. We have to believe and we have to hope that out of this very dire situation, honest people with vision and ideas can emerge to earn the right to leadership and to earn the right to change. You know, my lodestar throughout my adult life has been our Constitution, and it remains our Constitution because it premises everything on the idea that everybody in South Africa is equal, that there is a right to social justice. And I believe that we have the resources in this country. We're not a poor country. We're not a country where 12 million people should be hungry when there's actually a surplus of food available. We're not a country where 65% of young people are unemployed when there's obviously work to be done all around us. The reason that this situation exists is because of governmental and political failure. And we can only solve that by trying. Is all I can say to you in this interview tonight is, you know, I'm prepared to try, together with many other people who are prepared to try, and that we've reached a point in our country where good people and people of integrity have to now stand up in a different way.
Mark Heywood, good to speak to you. Thank you so much for your time tonight.